You've been lied to your entire life. From the moment you became aware, they told you that happiness only exists in pairs, that love is the ultimate goal, that being single is a flaw, a temporary failure, something you must escape before it destroys you. But here's the brutal, unspoken truth. Love cannot fix what you refuse to face. No partner, no romance, no fleeting warmth can heal the hollowness gnawing inside you. Love cannot make the world kinder. Love cannot stop the quiet scream of your mind. And yet the world insists that you need it to survive. Nietzsche warned that the individual must struggle constantly to avoid being swallowed by the tribe, to avoid losing themselves to the expectations of the crowd. Jung said that most people never truly meet themselves because they are too busy searching for someone else to complete the void they refuse to confront. Being single isn't a punishment. Being single isn't a failure. Being single is survival. It is the only way to face yourself without compromise, without distraction, without hiding from the darkness inside you. Because when you are alone, there's no one to protect you from yourself, no one to distract you from the truth, no one to convince you that your fears, your emptiness, your silence are wrong. You are left with yourself, unfiltered, raw, exposed, and it hurts. The cracks you've ignored for years widen, threatening to swallow you. You see your insecurities, your regrets, your failures. You see every lie you've told yourself just to survive, and it crushes you. It terrifies you. But in that terror lies clarity. In that exposure lies honesty. And honesty is the only thing that can make you whole. Relationships lie. They promise completeness. They promise fulfillment. They promise someone else can fill the holes life has dug into you. And maybe for a fleeting moment it seems true. But only you can fill the hollowness that belongs to you alone. No one else can carry the weight you've been avoiding. Nietzsche called it creating yourself. Jung called it individuation. The work, the struggle, the confrontation required to survive, to endure, to become whole, cannot be outsourced. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be given to anyone else. Being single is terrifying because it forces you to face the very thing everyone else runs from, yourself. The world does not want you to meet yourself. The world wants you distracted, dependent, afraid of your own thoughts. Most people will never dare this confrontation. They settle, they cling, they trade pieces of themselves for illusion, for distraction, for comfort. But if you dare to stay single, to embrace the loneliness, you find a truth most will never know. You are enough. You are whole. You are your own anchor in a world that offers nothing but storms. Here is the part most people refuse to see. Being alone is the only way to understand life's cruelty. It strips away illusions, comforts, distractions. You see the world for what it truly is, indifferent, hollow, demanding more than it gives. You see yourself for what you truly are, flawed, fragile, mortal, and it terrifies you. But that terror, that suffocating, raw, unfiltered terror, is the only honest thing you will ever experience. And honesty is the only thing that can make you strong. Brutal honesty with yourself is the only thing that allows you to endure, to survive, to exist without compromise, without illusion, without betrayal. Most people run from this truth. They chase distraction, seeking warmth in another, clinging to fleeting comfort, hiding from themselves. They pretend, they avoid, they never meet the emptiness inside. But if you stay single long enough, you realize solitude is not emptiness. It is power. It is clarity. It is the only way to meet yourself fully, without lies, without illusions, without compromise. You stare at yourself and finally accept what you've been running from for your whole life. And in that acceptance, you find strength. Being single forces you to confront the patterns of your mind, your fears, your insecurities, your failures, to sit with the hollowness you have avoided your whole life. And when you do, you discover something that no relationship, no comfort, no fleeting affection can ever give you. Freedom. Freedom from dependence. Freedom from compromise. Freedom from the constant, quiet draining of someone else's expectations. Yes, being single is dark. Yes, it is lonely. Yes, it terrifies you. But it is also the only path to clarity, to power, to surviving in a world that is indifferent, chaotic, and cruel. The only path to becoming whole. So if you are single, if you are lonely, if the world tells you that you are missing something, know this: you are not missing anything. You are gaining everything. You are surviving. You are confronting truths most refuse to see. You are creating your own strength, your own clarity, your own life, untouched, unborrowed, unbroken. Because the world will mock you. Society will call you incomplete. Friends will push you towards distractions that hide you from your truth. But staying single is not weakness. It is rebellion. It is power. It is the only honest way to exist fully in a world that constantly demands pieces of you cannot afford to give. Society will never tell you the truth about being single. It mocks it, fears it, tries to erase it. From the moment you reach adulthood, the world hounds you with questions. When are you going to settle down? Why aren't you seeing anyone? Don't you want to be loved? Every glance, every comment, every expectation is a subtle form of pressure, a way to force you into a system you are not meant for. The truth is, society hates the single person because the single person cannot be controlled. The single person answers to no one but themselves. They see the illusions behind social norms. They understand the hollowness behind romantic fantasies. And that terrifies the world. Think about it. Most people are shackled by relationships they don't fully want, living lives shaped by someone else's needs, desires, and expectations. They trade pieces of themselves for comfort, for validation, for the illusion of companionship. And they tell themselves it's worth it. But deep down they know it isn't. They feel the quiet gnawing of emptiness, even while holding hands, even while whispering, "I love you." That emptiness is your freedom calling. That emptiness is what single people learn to embrace. Relationships can be cages, even the ones that feel good at first. Every compromise, every unspoken frustration, every small betrayal chips away at your sense of self. Love demands sacrifice, often silent, often invisible. You're forced to hide parts of yourself, to tolerate patterns you would never accept alone, to appease someone else's fears. And that slowly, almost imperceptibly, kills your individuality. The world pretends that this is normal, that this is love, but it isn't. It's conformity, it's submission, and the price is your soul. Being single, on the other hand, is rebellion. Not loud or dramatic, but quiet and unwavering. It is the refusal to trade yourself for someone else's comfort. It is the act of staring at your own mind, unflinching, and saying, "I will not shrink to make you comfortable. I will not lose myself to your expectations. I will not hide from my own truth." That is power. That is clarity. That is a kind of freedom most people will never experience because it is terrifying. Terrifying because it requires you to sit alone with yourself, to face every failure, every insecurity, every unspoken fear without distraction. Most people cannot do this. They jump from one relationship to the next, from one distraction to another, desperately avoiding themselves. They're terrified of solitude because solitude is a mirror, and mirrors never lie. They show you what you've been avoiding, what you've been running from, what you've been too afraid to face. And most people would rather pretend the mirror doesn't exist. But if you embrace it, if you stare at it long enough, you discover something that love cannot give: wholeness. This is the truth. Relationships do not make you complete. Love does not fix you. Companionship does not heal your scars. The only thing that can make you whole, that can give you clarity, that can give you the raw, unfiltered honesty you need to survive this world is you. Only you. And the longer you live in solitude, the more you see it. Every moment alone strengthens you in ways you cannot imagine. Every silence becomes a teacher. Every sleepless night, a confrontation with yourself. Every fear faced alone, a victory over a world that constantly demands you compromise. Being single also teaches you the cruelest, most liberating truth of all. Most people are not equipped to love themselves, let alone someone else. Most people enter relationships to hide, to avoid, to distract themselves from the terror of being alive. They cling to each other like lifeboats in a storm, but the water is endless, and the storm never stops. And the moment they realize they cannot escape the storm together, the cracks appear, the fights, the resentment, the quiet suffocation. And you, watching from your solitude, understand that this is not weakness in them. It is weakness in the system, in the expectation, in the illusion. You see the truth. Most people are lost, and you, if you remain single, are finding your way. Solitude is not lonely unless you fear it. Solitude is not empty unless you avoid it. Solitude is a forge, a fire that melts illusions, burns insecurities, and leaves you with clarity, with honesty, with a self you can trust. In a world that constantly demands pieces of you, that whispers that you are incomplete, that pushes you toward compromise after compromise, solitude is resistance. It is defiance. It is survival. And here's what most people will never tell you. Staying single is not temporary. It is not a stepping stone. It is not a waiting period for someone better. Staying single is a choice, a deliberate, conscious, radical choice to survive in a world that is indifferent, cruel, and relentlessly demanding. It is choosing yourself over illusions, yourself over society, yourself over someone else's idea of happiness. And that choice is terrifying because society will never approve, because the voices around you will scream that you are incomplete, because the mirror will force you to stare at yourself and acknowledge every imperfection you have tried to hide. But that choice, that terrifying, dark, lonely, uncomfortable choice, is freedom. Real freedom. Freedom from compromise, freedom from dependence, freedom from distraction, freedom from illusions, freedom to create yourself, to face your own mind, to survive your own darkness. Freedom that few ever experience because few ever dare to confront the world and themselves alone. So if you are single, embrace it. Do not hide. Do not apologize. Do not pretend it is temporary. You are surviving. You are learning. You are discovering, you are forging strength that no relationship, no romance, no fleeting affection can ever give. You are facing yourself in a way most people are too terrified to do. And in that confrontation, in that darkness, in that honesty, you are becoming whole. And in the moments no one sees, the quiet nights, the long silences, the introspection that terrifies everyone else, you will find something rare, something powerful, something the world cannot take from you. You will find yourself. At last, you begin to understand the magnitude of what it means to be single, not lonely, not broken, not waiting, but alive. Not alive in the shallow sense society demands, holding hands, sharing a bed, smiling on cue. Alive in the raw, unfiltered sense, staring at yourself, facing every fear, every flaw, every unspoken desire that no one else will ever understand. Being single is not absence, it is presence. Presence with yourself in a way that relationships can never offer. You become your own confidant, your own guardian, your own measure of truth. No one else can define you. No one else can tell you who you are. No one else can manipulate the fragments of your identity because you own every fragment, every piece, every shadow. You are whole, terrifyingly, relentlessly, profoundly whole. The world does not like this.
It cannot tolerate it. Single people are unpredictable. They cannot be controlled. They cannot be forced into conformity. Society hates those who do not need validation, those who do not rely on another's presence to feel alive, those who understand that the only real power is the one you forge alone, in silence, in darkness, in the crucible of your own mind. Because the truth is simple. Relationships are fragile. They demand constant maintenance, constant compromise, constant suppression of the self. They are riddled with expectation, burdened with rules, poisoned with dependency. Love can feel like safety, but it is rarely freedom. It asks you to shrink, to hide, to surrender pieces of yourself you will never get back. And when it breaks, when it inevitably breaks, you are left weaker than you were before. Alone, but scarred. Alone, but diminished. Solitude, in contrast, is brutal but honest. It does not promise happiness. It does not offer distraction. It does not lull you with illusions. Solitude is truth. Solitude is power. Solitude is the one place where you are not anyone's possession, not anyone's responsibility, not anyone's project. Solitude allows you to survive a world that will never be kind, a world that will never wait for you to catch up, a world that will never understand you. And in this survival, you become something rare, untouchable, unbound, unstoppable. You begin to see it everywhere. The cracks in other people's relationships, the quiet resentments, the compromises they cannot speak of, the loneliness hidden behind the smiles and the kisses. You see the exhaustion in the ones clinging to others, the desperation in the ones afraid to face themselves. And you feel a strange, dark vindication. You are not broken like them. You are not desperate. You are not afraid. You are awake, while the world remains asleep in its illusions. But this awakening is not comfortable. It is not gentle. It is not romantic. It is painful, terrifying, isolating. You confront yourself every day. You face the chaos in your mind, the shadows you wish would vanish, the hollowness that threatens to swallow you whole. And yet you endure. You survive. You sharpen yourself on the edges of your own existence. You do not hide. You do not compromise. You do not surrender. Singlehood teaches you the cruelest, most beautiful lesson of all. No one can save you. No one can rescue you from yourself. No one can make life easier, safer, lighter, less chaotic. Only you can do that. Only you can survive. Only you can claim the truth of your existence. And that truth, raw, terrifying, and liberating, is the most potent power you will ever possess. Freedom is the reward. Real freedom. The freedom to make your own choices without justification. The freedom to live by your own standards, your own rhythms, your own truth. The freedom to fail without apology. To rise without dependence. To exist without compromise. This freedom is not granted. It is seized. It is earned. And it comes only through solitude, through confronting yourself, through staying single while the world screams for your submission. And in this solitude, you become rare. You are the person who does not need to hide from themselves, the person who can face their fears and survive, the person who can bear the weight of life alone and emerge stronger, sharper, awake. You are the person who can watch the illusions of love, the fragility of relationships, the desperation of others, and not flinch, because you know the truth. All of it is fleeting. All of it is temporary. All of it is optional. And you, standing alone, are eternal in your own power. Being single is not deprivation. It is abundance. Abundance of self, abundance of clarity, abundance of strength. You are learning to master your mind, to survive your own darkness, to own every fear and every longing without compromise. You are not avoiding love. You are learning to love without losing yourself. You are not isolating, you are awakening. Because solitude isn't loneliness, it's transformation. If this resonated with you, if it touched something deep within, comment your thoughts below. Tell me how solitude has changed you. Tell me what you've discovered when it was just you and your own mind staring back. Subscribe for more brutally honest reflections, more dark truths, and more lessons most people are too afraid to face. Watch next. You've been alive but never living, a journey into the illusion of existence for those who dare to question what life truly means.